So in this video, I wanted to share with you guys 5 things to know before you book your first Disney cruise. Alright, so low-key, I'm super jealous of all the Disney influencers and bloggers out there who were invited to join a trip on a Disney cruise, and I want to go back. I would consider myself a professional Disney cruiser. I mean, I've been on 5, so I feel like I have some experience under my belt. I have yet to go on all the ships and all the destinations that the Disney cruise offers. That doesn't mean that I won't eventually go on them. I've already been on 5 cruises myself, 4 on the Disney Dream, 1 on the Disney Magic, all of them to the Bahamas. So I definitely need to change that up and go somewhere different. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, so I wanted to share with you guys 5 things that you guys should know before you book your first Disney cruise. Because I mean, some of the questions that I get asked that I feel like are pretty generic questions in terms of people who have never been on a Disney cruise, let alone a cruise itself. Just so that way it gives you guys some basic knowledge before you start planning your first trip, or even if you're even inquiring on whether it's worth it or whether it's something that you want to do, if it's a right fit for you and your family. That way it can give you guys some insight on what to expect, on what to know for your first Disney cruise. So the first thing to know is that there are 4 ships. There's the Disney Magic, the Disney Wonder, the Disney Dream, and the Disney Fantasy. The first 2, the Disney Magic and the Disney Wonder, are what's called sister ships. And what that means is that they're basically similar in terms of size and some similar things that come with the ship. So the other 2, the Fantasy and the Dream, those 2 are sister ships. Both of those are actually larger than the Disney Magic and the Disney Wonder. The Disney Cruise Line actually is coming out with how many more ships? I think 2 or 3. I can't believe I didn't know this before I filmed this video. I want to say it's 2, but we're about to find out. There's going to be... So there's actually going to be 3 ships joining the fleet in 2021, 2022, and 2023. So I'm super excited for those 3 because for sure your girl's going to want to go on all 3 of them. So be mindful of the fact that when you book, if you did, I don't know, let's say hear about something or a feature, restaurant, amenity, or whatever it is that a specific ship has, make sure you're mindful of that when you book, because that doesn't necessarily mean that the ship that has the thing that you want will coincide with the destination that you want. I guess the easiest example for me would be if you wanted to experience the adult only restaurant Remy. That restaurant is not available on the Disney Magic or the Disney Wonder. Basically, you would end up having to figure out which destinations are being offered with the Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy solely because you wanted to experience Remy, the restaurant. But that actually brings me over to the next thing. All 4 ships don't necessarily go to the same destination. So obviously, depending on when you're watching this video, some changes may have been made with the Disney Cruise Line, but so far for now, one of the ships, the Disney Dream, typically sails to the Bahamas. You have other ships, for instance, like the Disney Wonder, which once in a while sails along the California coast. You have the Disney Magic, which sometimes sails to Europe, and then we have the Disney Fantasy, which sails all across the Caribbean. Depending on which destination you want to go to, it's not always the Bahamas. They offer trips to Alaska, Hawaii, Europe, Mexico, Canada. They have a variety of destinations. It's not offered all year round, so be mindful of that as well. So when you do plan your trip and you have a specific place that you want to go to, I would say besides the Caribbean, look out for when those are being offered so that way you can plan accordingly. So then the third thing to know is that Disney does have a private island in the Disney does have a private island in the Bahamas called Castaway Cay. It's spelled C-A-Y, so like K, but it's actually pronounced Key. I remember when I first went, I used to call it Castaway Cay until I kept getting corrected so many times. But yeah, it's a really cool island. It's quiet. Well, actually, the quiet part depends because I typically go to the adults only section, like the adults only beach where that's quiet. It literally is like your definition of a perfect beach. You see white sands, blue waters, depending on the weather, blue skies. I'll insert some pictures here so that way you guys can see what I'm talking about, but it just looks perfect. No one else is on that island besides the people on that ship. Oh, a bonus tip for that. The wave phones that you get in your stateroom, so those like walkie-talkie type of phones that come in your stateroom, it's like 2 per stateroom, but those actually work on the island. So It's also a good way to communicate in case you don't have your cell phone. And so the fourth thing to know is actually this piece of information can be for any cruise. It doesn't necessarily have to be the Disney cruise, but for the purpose of this video, for the Disney cruise, it's recommended that if you do decide to do a Bahamas cruise or any type of Caribbean cruise, that you go between the months of November and May. And the reason for that is because hurricane season is usually between June and beginning of November. Because it's hurricane season, there's a good chance that the weather may not be to your liking and may not be the ideal for a vacation. A side note to that is that I actually recommend doing 4-night cruises. I feel like that's a good amount of time, especially because it's like Monday through Friday, for example. If it's your first time, you don't know what to expect. At this point, I personally feel like 4-night cruises are too short. What if you don't like going on cruises, you tried it just to experience it and it turns out it's not what you imagined, or it's not what you end up liking? Or what if maybe you get seasick, and what if you couldn't get past the seasickness because maybe the medication doesn't work for you? Whatever the reason is, I recommend doing the 4-night ones. The 4-night cruises are enough time for you to get that whole cruise experience, and I just feel like gives you a better overall value for your whole reservation. And so lastly, number 5. This one might be the most important thing to know, and that's what your reservation comes with. So your reservation comes with obviously the stateroom, food, and drinks. Food for the most part. And what I mean by for the most part is that there are restaurants on board, the adults only restaurants, where you do actually have to pay for the food. All the other times, food is included. So whether you order room service, or whether during lunch you're at the buffet, or during dinner when you're at your designated seating area, whatever it is, food is included with your reservation. So you don't have to worry about paying anything extra for food unless you want to pay for those extra things. So some things that you would have to pay for besides the adults only restaurant is, for example, like the popcorn that you would pay for when you want to watch a movie, or the gelato ice cream, or there are definitely different things on the ship where you do have to pay for that isn't included with your stay, but that's solely up to you if you did want to pay for those things. Like I said, breakfast, lunch, and dinner pretty much is included throughout your whole stay. Now, as far as drinks, and the reason why I want to talk about drinks is only because I'm actually planning to book another cruise, but unfortunately it's not the Disney cruise. I know, you can judge me, but basically Nick, his cousins, and I want to go on a Royal Caribbean cruise. As I was doing my research and finding different things about that cruise, apparently you have to pay for a drink package. I still don't know much about it. I'm like going to research it, but pretty much drinks aren't included on with your reservation. But so I'm just gonna put that out there in case that is true. Non-alcoholic drinks, I'm just talking about like your regular fountain drinks, those are included with your reservation. What's not included with your reservation is airfare and ground travel. Those you do have to pay separately, but upon the time of booking you can add that to your reservation. And that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed these 5 things that you need to know before you book your first Disney cruise. I hope this information was helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you do have any additional questions. I'm also on social media, so definitely reach out to me there as well. My social media handles will be in the description box. If you guys want to see more Disney cruise related videos, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you guys haven't joined the OHANA yet, hit that subscribe button. Subscribe. Well, I mean, I could put like a picture of the subscribe button, but really there's a subscribe button, like I think it might be right here, I don't know, but anyways, find that subscribe button and hit subscribe. All right, but until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye.